Welcome, everyone, to this Sabres Medical Provider Spotlight.
It's great to be here.
Today, we're really shining a light on some outstanding professionals making a difference in mental health.
And our focus is on Dr. Alex Lazar. He's with Blossom TMS out in Encino, California.
Right, Dr. Lazar. And he has, well, quite a bit of experience under his belt, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Over 2 decades. We're talking adult and child psychiatry. So a really broad perspective.
Impressive. And what's particularly interesting, I think, and relevant for our listeners is his recent move into using TMS.
TMS, yeah. Transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Yeah.
It's a newer tool in the toolbox for many psychiatrists.
Exactly. So we want to explore, what led him down that path, why TMS, and especially how it's working for things like treatment-resistant depression.
Yeah, that's a big one. For people who haven't really found relief with the standard medications, it offers another avenue.
So let's maybe rewind a bit. What initially sparked his interest in psychiatry? Was it something right from the start of medical school?
It seems like it was during his rotations. He mentioned finding it just fascinating, hearing people's stories, understanding their experiences.
So that human connection piece was key.
It sounds like it. That curiosity about people's lives, their challenges, seems like that was the foundation.
Okay. And his journey since then, he finished medical school in 96, you said?
That's right, 1996. Then he did his adult psychiatry training at UCLA San Fernando.
Okay.
And followed that up with child psychiatry at Cedars-Sinai. So really specialized training.
Gotcha. And he's been in private practice since about 2001.
Yeah, around 23 years now.
Yeah.
Based in Encino. A long time building that practice.
Definitely a long commitment. So after all that time, using, more traditional methods, presumably, what made him decide to bring TMS into the mix?
Well, it wasn't an overnight thing, apparently. He'd been looking at new modalities, new ways to help patients. But there were hurdles. He mentioned concerns about the cost of the equipment, which could be significant.
Sure, that makes sense. And maybe the training involved.
And the learning curve, yeah. He thought it might be pretty steep. So he hesitated for a bit.
So what changed his mind?
Deeper research, basically. He really looked into it and eventually found a device, a setup that seemed practical for his clinic, both space-wise and financially.
And once he made the leap, how did it feel incorporating it?
Pretty positive, it sounds like.
Yeah.
He mentioned feeling, a real sense of reward, being able to offer another effective option.
Especially for those tougher cases, I imagine.
Exactly. For patients who felt stuck, maybe. It just expands the possibilities for treatment, which is, always the goal.
He shared some patient stories, too, which really bring it to life, and that particularly stood out.
Yeah, a couple were quite striking. There was a young college student really struggling.
Okay.
And saw significant improvement pretty quickly with TMS, like within maybe 7 to 10 sessions.
Wow, that fast.
Relatively speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you think about how it might target those specific brain circuits for, like, motivation or mood.
And there was another one.
Yes, a woman dealing with just profound depression after losing a child, a truly devastating situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And TMS apparently provided substantial relief for her, which speaks volumes about its potential impact on, deep emotional pain.
Those are powerful examples, but he was also careful to point out it's not. It doesn't work for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's crucial. It's not a miracle cure. No treatment is. But he did say the majority of his patients do respond.
And for those who do, the results can be really life-changing.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Very profound. It kind of highlights the targeted nature of TMS. It's not like a medication that affects the whole system. It's focused stimulation.
Right, on specific brain areas involved in mood.
Exactly. Like trying to tune one part of the brain that's maybe gone off key.
Interesting analogy. He also mentioned something about the patient experience itself, the frequency of the visits.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect because TMS typically involves coming in quite often, like daily for a period.
5 days a week, often.
Right. And he noted that this regular contact does seem to foster maybe a closer connection, a stronger therapeutic relationship.
That makes sense. More FaceTime.
It does. But he was quick to emphasize it's not just the extra interaction that's making the difference.
Ah, okay.
The magnetic stimulation itself is the core therapeutic element. The relationship helps, but the TMS is doing the heavy lifting, biologically speaking.
Got it. The technology plus the human support. What about that scheduling, though? 5 days a week is a big ask for many people.
It is. And he actually brought up a good point about flexibility. He's found that even if patients can only manage, say, 3 days a week,
Okay.
they could still see significant improvements, which suggests maybe the total number of sessions over time is more critical than rigidly sticking to that 5 days a week schedule.
That's really practical. It could make TMS accessible for people with tricky schedules or other commitments.
Exactly. A bit more adaptable.
Looking ahead, Dr. Lazar sounds pretty enthusiastic about where TMS might be going.
Oh, definitely. He seems really excited about its potential beyond just treatment-resistant depression and OCD, which are the main FDA-approved uses right now.
What else is on the horizon?
Well, there's research going on for all sorts of things. He mentioned smoking cessation,
Interesting.
tinnitus, migraines, even anxiety disorders. The field is actively exploring these areas.
And anything he's particularly interested in personally?
He specifically mentioned bipolar depression. That's often very difficult to treat.
True.
And he said he's actually seen some promising results himself, anecdotally, within his own practice. So that's an area he's watching closely.
It really feels like a rapidly evolving field then.
Absolutely. Our understanding of brain circuits and how to modulate them is growing fast.
Now, switching gears slightly, why the Blossom TMS device specifically? There are other systems out there.
Yeah, good question. His reasons were actually quite practical. A big factor was the size. Yeah, the Blossom machine is apparently quite compact. And that was important because his treatment room wasn't huge. It needed to fit well.
Okay, physical constraints. Makes sense.
Then there was the support aspect. He spoke really highly of the Blossom team.
Like so.
Just being very responsive. If there were questions or any, minor technical issues, they were sorted out quickly.
That's huge in a busy practice. You need things to just work.
Totally. And he found the machine itself user-friendly. So ease of use, good support, practical design. It ticked the boxes for him.
So a combination of the tech and the team behind it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it comes back to the results. He's happy with how his patients are doing, and the device has been reliable.
He mentioned affordability too, didn't he?
Yes. Cost effectiveness was another point. Making this kind of advanced therapy perhaps a bit more accessible than some other systems might be.
It sounds like he's really found a good fit for his practice and his patients.
Yeah, he seems very satisfied with the decision, both with Blossom and just with integrating TMS therapy overall.
It's genuinely encouraging to hear about practitioners like Dr. Lazar embracing these innovations.
It really is. Shows a real commitment to finding what works best for each individual patient.
Well, we really have to thank Dr. Alex Lazar from Bliss TMS for sharing all of that. His insights into using TMS have been incredibly valuable for this Sabres Medical Provider Spotlight.
Absolutely. A fantastic contribution. Hearing directly from clinicians on the front lines is so important.
And for anyone listening who wants to learn more about the technology itself, about Blossom TMS, you can find information at sabresmedical.com.
Good resource. And, this whole conversation just highlights how dynamic mental health care is becoming.
It really does.
Thinking about these innovative therapies like TMS, it really offers, tangible hope, especially for people who felt like they'd run out of options with more traditional approaches. It's an exciting time.